Welcome back to Naturalista. As we explore emotional intelligence, we can compare our emotions to water, vast, deep, and ever changing, like the ocean. Just as water can be calm or turbulent, our emotions ebb and flow, shaping our experiences. By mastering our emotional waters, we can use the power of our minds to create the reality we desire. Let's dive. What is emotional intelligence? And how can we master our emotions before they create the thoughts that shape our reality? Together, we'll explore techniques to understand, manage, and harness our emotions, empowering us to lead more mindful and intentional lives. To master emotional intelligence and lead more mindful, intentional lives, we can use several techniques. First one is self awareness. Practice mindfulness, journaling, and body awareness to recognize and understand emotions as they arise. Number two, emotional regulation. Use techniques like pausing before reacting, reframing thoughts, and deep breathing to manage emotional responses. Next one is harnessing emotions. Direct emotional energy towards positive actions and constructive outcomes, using emotions as a source of motivation and creativity. These strategies help us better understand, manage, and utilize our emotions effectively. Life is truly like a roller coaster, filled with ups, downs, twists, and turns. The key to navigating it is learning to adapt and enjoy the ride. Instead of resisting the highs and the lows, we can embrace the journey, finding joy in the exciting moments and resilience in the challenging ones. By developing flexibility and a positive outlook, we can handle whatever comes our way, making the most of every experience life has to offer. So remember, when you're feeling low, tap into a moment of happiness or gratitude. Reflect on a time when you felt joyful, peaceful, or thankful. Recalling these positive experiences can help lift your spirit, shift your mindset, and remind you that just like a roller coaster, the low moments are temporary, and there are always highs to look forward to. Embracing gratitude and happiness can transform how you experience life's ups and downs. Naturalista, guys, we are back with an amazing topic to discuss, and that is emotional wellness. Why? Well, understanding and managing your feelings can very much help your life get better. Join us today as we dive into emotions, what they are, how they affect us, and how thoughts influence feelings. Thoughts often lead to positive feelings, while negative thoughts often lead to negative emotions or feelings. How do emotions drive our actions? Emotions motivate our behaviors. For instance, fear may lead us to avoid danger, while happiness encourages us to more social interaction. How can we relax when we're feeling overwhelmed? Well, isn't that one of those things? Techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, exercise, and journaling can help calm and center us. You know, practice makes perfect. How can we become more aware of our emotions? Well, keep a mood journal. And practicing mindfulness helps us notice and understand our emotional patterns. Common misconceptions about emotions. People may think that emotions are a sign of weakness or that negative emotions should be ignored, but all emotions are natural and are important. So, how can we understand emotions and improve relationships? Recognizing emotions help us communicate better and connect more deeply with others, improving our relationships. What advice can help with handling negative emotions? First, accept your emotions instead of fighting them, and use self care techniques like mindfulness, meditation to navigate through them. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, manage, and use emotions effectively and for your benefit. It involves recognizing your own emotions and the emotional responses and staying motivated, showing empathy, and maintaining good social interactions. How does emotional intelligence relate to emotions? Well, emotional intelligence helps individuals perceive and interpret emotions accurately, manage emotional reactions constructively, and use emotional awareness to make better decisions and solve problems. Essentially, emotional intelligence enables people to harness their emotions to improve their thinking and relationships. Thank you for watching Naturalista, and we will see you next time. Coming up on Naturalista, we're discussing breath work. Is going to show us how to breathe. Can you believe that? Why is it important? We're going to get into a brief discussion as to why this is something that you should incorporate to your daily life. So let me introduce everyone. This is Natalie Lynn, and she is coming to put us in the mood with some breath work as we start our recording.
Amazing. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. So tell us a little bit about, you wanted to practice a little bit of breath work as we start. So tell me how that's going to go.
Yes, I thought that it could help us just get in the mood a little bit, help us relax and ground us into the present moment. So, I wanted to do a calming breathwork technique. And this particular method is called box breathing. It's one of my favorites to help you relax, especially if you're feeling stressed. It just kind of brings your level down a little bit and you feel nice and calm afterwards. So, what this looks like, we are going to essentially draw a box with our breath, and it will be 4 counts in through the nose, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts through the nose, and hold at the bottom for 4 counts. And so essentially, you're just drawing a box with your inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And so I can count us in and we can just do a few rounds of that if you'd like.
That sounds great. Let's get started.
Okay, so let's just maybe close your eyes if you want to get nice and comfortable. Start to notice your breath. And we can begin the pattern with an inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. We'll do one more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. And now just let your breath start to normalize. Open your eyes and see how you feel.
Feels great.
Good.
I guess,
I'm glad to hear it.
yes, naturalistas, I guess you should start, using the box method that we learned today with Natalie, and tell us how you feel. Put it on Instagram or TikTok and we will take it from there. So, Natalie, tell me a little bit about what journey drew you, because usually when we interview someone that is doing this type of work, it's because a journey or an experience got them to the point where they had to look into this. So what drew you into breath work in the first place?
I'd say I've been on a personal development journey for quite a few years now. I think it started when I was having what felt like a quarter life crisis. I kind of didn't know what I was doing with my life. I wasn't happy with my job. I wasn't happy with my relationships. And I just decided to turn inward and see what I can find. So I started doing a lot of personal development related workshops, classes, just essentially anything I could find to try to help me kind of uncover who I really am at my core. And one of those things that I came across was breath work. It was kind of by accident. I actually had signed up to go to a sound bath experience. I was living in New York City at the time. And as part of that sound bath experience, there was a breathwork portion. And that particular version of breathwork was very intense. There are a lot of different styles, but the one that I went to for my first time was a very intense class. And it's actually a style of breathwork that can produce a natural high. And so I really didn't know what I was getting into, but it definitely intrigued me and I wanted to learn more. And so over the years, I've tried a lot of different methods, different techniques for breathing. And there's just a technique for everything. If you want to get a little bit of energy, if you want to calm down, if you want to release some emotions, you name it, there's a method for it.
Look at that, Naturalista. So your breath can control everything that's happening around you if you know the technique to use. And that's why Natalie's here to tell us a little bit about, how we could incorporate this. So if you could tell me, after you went through that experience, when did you start noticing the benefits and the changes in your current manifested reality?
hmm I would say I really noticed changes when I started doing breath work on a daily basis. It's now part of my morning routine. So it's one of my favorite things to do in the morning. I switch up the technique that I do, but it really just sets the tone for my day and it kind of grounds me into the present moment. And I just feel a lot calmer when I do it. I feel like I can handle the day ahead of me. And yeah, I think consistency is key, just like with so many things. So, 5-10 minutes every morning, and I really started to notice the benefits.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So now you are teaching other people or coaching them into doing these things. So you decided that it made such a change in your life that you thought it would help others and started to start incorporating them into the daily life. So if you could give someone a beginner's tip, let's just say do this for 3 days and then see how you feel. What would that tip be?
Absolutely. I think for beginners, it's important to start slowly. There are some very intense methods that are taught out there, and it might be a little overwhelming for someone just starting out. Some of these methods can surface or dig up a lot of emotions as well that maybe people aren't ready for. So it's definitely important to start small and build your way up. So I think starting with the box breathing technique, if you do that for 5 minutes a day, for a week and just see how you feel and see what happens throughout the rest of your day after starting with that practice. I think that's a great tip for beginners.
Okay, so guys, focus on the box and do that for 3 days and then look into different ways of changing that depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So, do you feel that breath work has helped with your manifestations or, creating a better reality for yourself and in what ways?
I think it has. I think with breath work, you can experience a lot of clarity, especially when it comes to all of the emotions we're dealing with on a daily basis.
Mm.
So, when we think about emotions, they are energy in motion. And one of the best ways to move past emotions, maybe that are a little bit more difficult, if you're stuck in a funk or something like that, is to use your breath and move out all of that energy. And when you're able to move all that stagnant energy throughout the rest of your body, you can think clearer and just feel more regulated and more in control. And when you feel regulated and in control and have that clarity of mind, you can see what you want your future to look like and start visualizing from that clear headed perspective.
For you to understand what's happening, you have to be quiet in your mind. And that is the hardest thing to accomplish because your mind just doesn't stop. So he had
Mhm.
some really interesting methods that he shared with us, but he didn't share the box. So I think the box might be a great starting point for everyone that is interested in looking into different ways to make their life better. So what are your plans? Do you have courses, workshops like
Now I work with people on a one on one basis. I am certified in breathwork as well as meditation, and I really like to blend those two modalities together. especially starting out with breath work and leading into meditation. It can help you have a more effective meditation practice as well because it can calm down the nervous system and prepare yourself for meditation. And so I like to work with people one on one using meditation and breath work. I'm also a Reiki master. And
Wow.
so I like to incorporate energy healing into my work as well. So I also work with people one on one in person as well as virtually for Reiki energy healing as well. And
Wow.
I'm working on developing a course that I would love to teach live, but that's still in the works. So definitely more information to come on that.
To know if they start incorporating the box method, which you guys should, you really should, and see how that makes you feel. And then you could just kind of change levels with an actual course and include meditation. So when you say meditation, there are different types of meditation. So which one specifically do you work with?
Yes, I really enjoy meditations that get you into your body. Getting into the body and doing embodiment practices is one of the biggest things that's helped me on my healing and personal development journey. And I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in their head a lot of times. If you have racing thoughts, worries, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, and it's so important to get out of the head and drop into the body.
Hmm.
And so, with my meditations that I guide, I really like to help people do just that and tune into their feelings and the sensations in their body. And if there's something you want to manifest in your life, for example, it's so important to be able to feel into what that is. Like, what would it feel like in your body if you had that life of your dreams?
Happen of this is how I feel when I get it. And then unfortunately, it doesn't come out exactly as they planned. And all of a sudden, well, my manifestation didn't work. Well, you were planning all the different steps to it. And that is not really the way it works. The universe works in a way that you just say, this is what I need. And you have to let it go and then feel how this would feel if it happened and let it go again. So, Natalie, thank you so much for being on the show today. I can't wait to hear more about your guided meditation course that's coming up, and we will be in touch. Let us know how everything is going so that we could have you back on the show. Up next, we have a segment on mindfulness with Dr. Fauci. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware in the moment without judgment. It helps reduce stress and improve focus through techniques like meditation and deep breathing. Welcome to Naturalista, guys. Here we are again with a wonderful show full of amazing things that will make your life better. Today we have an author and someone who went through a journey to decide to work on mindfulness. And we are going to share with you so many different tips on how to apply this to your life. Please help me welcome Piero Fauci to our show. How are you, Piero?
I am doing excellent. I'm very happy, Judith, to be here, and I want to thank you for inviting me.
We're so excited because I think so many people need to incorporate these different things into their daily life. And I think we're going to start from the top. So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to want to write books about mindfulness and finding your interior or inner peace.
So it is a journey. It was a journey for me. So 20 years ago, I was a very successful multinational executive, if you will. I was doing business all over the world, but especially in Latin America and the Caribbean. And then that process, that is a normal process these days, a bigger company acquires a smaller company.
Right.
It's called merger and acquisition, and then they kind of remove the top executives. It's a process of downsizing. And then I found myself without a job.
Oh my goodness.
And fear kicked in. So I was here in the United States. The company actually brought me here to the United States 25 years ago. And I'm originally from Brazil, and I was working with them in Argentina, Chile, and then I came to the U.S., to Florida. But anyhow, what happened to me is that in that process, I had panic attacks. And then one friend of mine came with this idea, said, Piero, why don't you come with me for a weekend silent retreat?
That's a good friend.
But I thought it was a terrible idea, actually.
At the time.
Yes, I said, Jack, you don't understand. If I go to a place like this and I go to the silence, I think I'm going to lose it. I didn't know anything about the workings of the brain, but I said, imagine with all that fear, all that anxiety, becoming silent. It was unimaginable for me. Well, he was very kind.
To get you through the door of looking into mindfulness and alignment.
That's exactly what happened. So I went, and I found it incredible. I never had such an experience before, right? And then I started to practice, and from there I started to learn, and from there I started to teach. So I teach mindfulness meditation and mindful living. And this is what led me to write the books, A Better Mind, A Better Life, and A Better World.
Yes, we're going to try to incorporate some of the tips. So there's 365 tips.
There are 365 essays, so the 3 books compound 365 essays. They are pretty much standalone, but it gives a lot of advice on things that you can do to improve your well-being, your mental, emotional, physical well-being, as well as the quality of your life. The many problems that exist in the world, I try to focus on the ecological crisis and what we can do to tame the ecological crisis. And I think that one of the things that we can do, for instance, is to practice mindfulness meditation.
Wow. And if you could give our viewers maybe 5 tips to try to incorporate into their daily life. You know, we all have very crazy, chaotic lives at times. Some other times is totally silent or very quiet. And in between those times, what do you recommend that someone could do that is small, that doesn't take a total adjustment of the mind, that they can probably incorporate to their day to start working on these 365 different essays and tips that you have?
Absolutely. So there are a few things. I think that if you can meditate a little bit, and meditation is nothing exoteric, it's simply sitting and trying to focus your attention. So one of the practices, for instance, is the practice of focusing on our breath, on the mechanics of the breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out.
This roller coaster called life presents us with challenges, opportunities, and rewards. However, it also brings difficult situations that teach us valuable lessons necessary for our personal spiritual growth. Thank you for watching Naturalista, and we will see you next time.